my Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is the long and awaited for birthing story. Now I know I haven't posted in quite a few times, but hey, who's even noticing? But seriously, I'm so sorry. It's been hectic trying to get back to being at work, having the baby, and if any of you do or do not know, I have a 6-month-old baby girl. And so I just, not recently, but over a couple months already. Is it a couple months? Yeah, about 2 months I went back to work for the first time. So yeah, that's why I haven't been filming and editing. But apart from that, I was super excited to do this video even before I gave birth. So yeah, I kind of want to just have this as memory. Now I do want to say, as of now, even though giving birth was like the most craziest yet insane yet, I mean, just not even, I don't even know what word to use, but it was such a crazy experience that I might not even remember what actually, I mean, word for word. So if I just jump from one thing to another, like, just don't mind me. I do want to mention before we start that if you see me looking in this direction, it's just that I have a notebook with things if I do forget. So yeah, anyway, if you are interested in this video, keep on watching. Give this video a thumbs up. Okay, so my birth story began on February 24th, 2019. This was a Sunday, by the way. I was 38 weeks, almost 39 weeks. But yeah, so I woke up normal Sunday, and I had my maternity pictures that day around the afternoon, and I was like, you know what? Oh, before I go more into the story, I do want to say that I was starting to not induce my labor, but I basically got a bouncy ball or a birth ball, and I was just bouncing on it about like every day about an hour. So yeah, I started that like a week or a couple days before all of this happened. I really didn't do anything else besides, I mean, they say eating spicy foods induces your labor, but I ate spicy my whole pregnancy. But no, honestly, I did. So I don't know if that was it. I don't even remember if I ate something spicy that day. I don't even think I did, but anyway, I don't remember. So yeah, anyway, leading up to Sunday, I woke up. I actually went to the park and I walked a mile. And as I walked the mile, this was already like midday, I was feeling like weird cramp-like feelings down there. I don't even know if I should have added the S there, but so yeah, I was having cramps, and I was like, okay, they were getting sharper and sharper, but it was like super manageable. Like I could have ran a marathon and I would have been fine. But you know, they had their impulses here and there. So then kind of searched it up, figured out there were contractions, and I started timing them, but they're like 5 to 8 minutes apart. So I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna go in just for this, you know, I still have to go take my pictures, so, you know, pull through. So day goes by, they start getting more and more intense, but still manageable. I'm like, okay, my appointment's at 4 for the pictures, I have to make it to the pictures. So end up taking the pictures, fine. Get home, they start getting worse, but they're like 5 to 6, 7 minutes apart. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna shower, get my hair done, get the bags ready, just get everything ready just in case. But they weren't becoming more and more frequent. So I was like, you know what, let's just go to sleep. I'm just having regular I'm just having regular contractions, but you know, my water hasn't broken or anything. So 11 o'clock p.m. comes around, and I'm like, okay, I cannot deal with this anymore. Like, it was, when I tell you, it was like a punch in the stomach type of cramp, like it was. So it got to the point where they were, I think, 3 to 5 minutes apart, and they were just stronger and stronger. So I was like, okay, like I have the biggest pain tolerance you could ever imagine. Like, I've been burned, I have a bunch of tattoos, like your girl is ready for birth. So I was like, okay, well, let's just deal with this a little bit more, because I didn't want to be the type of person that goes into labor and ends up having to be in labor for like 35 years. So I was like, you know what, let's just pull through a little bit more. 30 minutes passed. I was like, okay, I gotta get to the nearest hospital. So I called, when you're already near 38, 39 weeks, they kind of tell you that if you have any concerns, if you have any leakage, yada yada, just call the labor and delivery floor at the hospital, and they'll, tell you whether to go in or not. So I called, as well as I was about 1 centimeter, or if not more, definitely not past 5 or 4, but I was 1 to 2 when this was happening. So I was like, okay, I am gonna call. So I call, I tell them how many centimeters dilated I am, yada yada, and they tell me go. So get all the bags, get ready, and we go. And so get to the hospital. They basically strap your belly up, and they try to they check to see if you're any more centimeters dilated, and then they tell you whether or not to stay. So they tell me, yep, I'm in labor. And I was like, okay, we're ready to get this party started. I end up getting my room, and this is about like 1 a.m. And so I'm there for a little bit. They're trying to see, I believe they started giving me, was it Pitocin and something else? Well, they first asked me if I wanted the epidural, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait it out to see how long I could wait before I get the epidural. And they're like, okay, that's fine, but just letting you know you're on a time frame. So I'm like, okay, well, that's just great to know. So I waited a little bit more until like 4 a.m. And so they were like, okay, well, time's almost clicking, time's clicking. So let us know, are you going to get it or not? I was like, okay, let's just get it. So I end up getting it. Honestly, I don't know how I felt about the epidural. I mean, I've been raised around so many women that have used it, and just, I've heard just get it, I've gotten that advice. I've gotten the advice of, women's body could take the pain, don't get it. But honestly, I was just on a neutral kind of vibe. I don't know. I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go with the wave on this one. And I wasn't going to deal with the pain. But yeah, I mean, a woman having a child is powerful enough, whether no epidural, like, you're giving birth to a child, you're bringing a life into this world through your hoo-ha. So you know what, power to you, baby girl. Okay, don't let nobody tell you otherwise. But anyway, so yeah, back to the story. Got that epidural like a champ, and yeah, then the party starts. They start giving you a whole bunch of medicine or a whole bunch of stuff. I know they gave me Pitocin, and I think I was dilating, rapidly, but something was happening with the contractions that it was kind of like making the baby's pressure go, not pressure, but yeah, her heart rate was going too fast. So they lowered it down a bit, I believe. And then morning came along. I believe I was like 6-7 centimeters dilated, but I wasn't increasing. So I stayed like that for a bit, and then by 12, I believe they told me, well, you're at 10. So at 12:30, they're like, you're gonna get ready, you're gonna start in a little bit, you're gonna start to push. I was like, okay. So I got myself all together, and yeah, 1:35 came around in the afternoon, and they were like, well, you got to start to push. I was like, okay. Like, it just, everything happens in such a flash. I don't know, like, that's another thing about me filming all these videos. Like, I kind of regret not filming much about, during the journey of being pregnant, but it was just everything for me at least was so in the moment, which I kind of appreciate at the same time, because like everything was so like, I don't know, not overwhelming, but it was just, yeah, it was overwhelming, but such like a happy moment. And everything was just like that, from the appointments to the ultrasounds to this to that. Everything about the pregnancy is like overwhelming and super exciting. So like, I don't know, I just lived day by day in my pregnancy. So yeah, that was kind of my thing with my pregnancy. But yeah, another thing was I didn't have such a great like doctor experience. I didn't have a good doctor. Not that I didn't have a good doctor, because for the appointment, she was always there, but she didn't. Before I make this a rant, I just wanted to say that she wasn't there for my delivery, so it basically kind of upset me. But yeah, it was a whole dilemma with her. But at the end, I guess, as long as the baby came out healthy, as well as I did have a healthy, super healthy pregnancy, thank God. All throughout my pregnancy, I had no complications whatsoever. But yeah, my experience with just insurance and doctors and all that wasn't the best. As well as with my epidural, I had seen so many videos of like husbands being in the room while their wives got the epidural. And when I was in my room, the first thing they tell me was it was my mom and my husband, but they're like, oh, everyone in the room has to get out. And I was like, well, how come I see it on videos? Like, no, I want them here, whatever. And at the end, I did get my way, and they ended up letting them stay in the room. But it was just things that, like, at the moment, I'm a first-time mom. I'm giving birth for my first time, like, I'm not one of those, I wasn't screaming. I wasn't all over the place. But yeah, so point is, let's just cut, you see, like, I ranted off on this part of the story. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah. Other than that, my whole birth experience was the most magical, beautifulest thing I've ever experienced. I honestly miss being pregnant, not my body being pregnant, but myself, and the connection that you do have with the baby when they're inside. It's like something I can't even explain. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have like a super traumatic or detailed pregnancy. I kind of had one that just flowed. The day, a couple hours after, that's another thing that was like the worst pain ever in the world. Not even giving birth, because I literally pushed for like 5 minutes and she came right out. And the pain one, I mean, you have to live it to experience it and to like understand it. It was nothing what I had pictured it to be. I didn't go in with a birth plan, because I knew like, hey, I know that wasn't gonna happen or pull through. So like, let me not even waste my time on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't even know where I was going with this. A couple hours after giving birth, the pain that you get, it was like, I guess it's your uterus cramping back up to its normal size. And it was the worst pain ever. I did find out then after birth that there's these eavesdrops for uterus cramping. So if you're pregnant or you're planning on getting pregnant and giving birth, definitely get yourself some uterus cramping eavesdrops. Okay guys, I am so sorry that I am filming again and I look like a hot mess, but I totally forgot that there were some things I didn't mention in the video yesterday when I was filming, so I definitely want to add it now. One of the things that I didn't mention earlier was, now this has to do with before giving birth, but it has to do with leading up to me giving birth, so I'm gonna add it regardless. But when I was pregnant, towards the ending of my the ending of my pregnancy, my baby was pretty much super low. She was at the bottom of my belly and she was already like in position to come out. So I was feeling a lot of back pains, ligament pains, just every possible pain you could think of, I was feeling then. And if you've ever been pregnant before or you haven't, just know that towards the ending is when it gets worse, because your body's just so heavy and over being just a big beluga whale. At least that's how I felt. So my body was just like not having it, and I was just super sore, super tired, just that's how I felt. But so since she was facing down and she was already in birth position, I believe I was 35 weeks, and they had already told me that I was starting to dilate. And if you don't know, sometimes you either progress in dilating while you're pregnant, or some women don't even dilate being pregnant, you know. So I was definitely dilating, and my body was getting ready for the moment. Also, I kind of had it in my mind that I was going to give birth before 40 weeks, because they say that, I mean, obviously it's not always the case, but my mom gave birth to my brothers and sisters as well as me early. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I give I give birth early. So I definitely did. I gave birth around 38 weeks, I believe. I think it was 38 weeks turning 39. Leading up to after giving birth, I did end up tearing. It wasn't like a second degree tear or third, but I did tear slightly inside, so they had to stitch that up. And to be honest, you feel it, but it's not like a pain. It's just you feel the pressure or whatever they're doing there. But I mean, I totally had this misconception of birth. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody does. That's why I didn't even bother going in with a birthing plan, because I was like, it's not gonna go through. Like, I know it. So yet again, my whole birthing experience, I mean, I had the most chillest. I could say chillest because I gave birth, literally, I pushed 5 minutes, and let's just say 10 minutes I was pushing, and boop, she came out. They stitch you up right there and then when you're just legs open, cuddling baby. But it was pretty quick. I have to say that when it comes to the idea of giving birth, you think, the actual having to push her out, or whether C-section or any other way, you kind of like place your mind on that idea and you don't think of anything else. But definitely I have to say the aspect of people coming in and checking on you. So that's the one major thing that I was just like, I felt choked on, or like just super like overwhelmed by. And I know people don't do it with the bad intentions, but so once you give birth, they weigh the baby, they check if the baby's okay. They check for eyes and ears, if everything's functioning properly. And then about 80,000 nurses come in and they're like, hey, you want this? Hey, how's the baby? Hey, make sure you're doing it this way, and make sure you're doing that, and make sure this and that. And I just felt so tormented. I mean, almost I stayed there about, I think, 3 nights, yeah. And so that was pretty much the downer for me, was the overwhelming of the hospital staff. Okay, so that pretty much sums up this story. I had so much fun talking and going down memory lane about my pregnancy. If you guys enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel and keep on watching for more. Bye, guys.